Not all heroes are made in labs, some are born, hidden in plain sight. Dr. Evelyn Ross froze as the DNA sequence flickered on the screen before her. Her heart raced, the low hum of the lab's machinery suddenly deafening. It wasn't supposed to be there, this wasn't in any medical textbook, no genetic map had ever shown this before. She had been running standard tests on blood samples collected from a small-town community for a health survey. It was routine, mundane, even. But what she had just uncovered changed everything she thought she knew about human evolution. A dormant sequence. A string of genetic code that shouldn't exist. Her trembling fingers hovered over the keyboard. The code wasn't random. It was precise, meticulously engineered. Embedded deep within the genome, hidden for generations, waiting. She adjusted her glasses, zooming into the sequence. The markers were clear: enhanced strength, accelerated healing, heightened senses. It was the blueprint for something more, something not quite human. Her thoughts spiraled. Could this be some kind of biological anomaly? But the patterns were too perfect. No, this wasn't nature's work. Someone, something, had put it there. The door to the lab creaked open, startling her. "Evelyn? You're still here?" It was Dr. Paul Jensen, her colleague and closest friend. She gestured frantically to the screen. "Paul, look at this. It's not possible." He peered over her shoulder, his eyes widening as the data processed. Silence stretched between them. "Where did you get this sample?" he asked, his voice hushed. "Local school. Random selection. This could be anyone." Paul's face paled. "If this is real, it means there are people out there, ordinary people, walking around with this super-soldier DNA." A chilling thought struck Evelyn. If the code was hidden so deeply, who put it there? And more importantly, what were they waiting for? Suddenly, the lab lights flickered. A warning flashed on her screen: unauthorized access detected. Evelyn's heart pounded. Someone knew. Someone was watching. "Paul, we need to go. Now." But before they could move, the building's fire alarms blared, and the heavy thud of boots echoed through the hallways. Outside, among the chaos, a teenage boy named Noah sat on the curb, clutching his backpack, unaware that the same dormant code flowed within him. And that tonight, his life, and the world, was about to change forever. The cold night air wrapped around Noah as he sat outside the school gym, waiting for his mom to finish her shift at the diner. His worn-out sneakers scraped against the sidewalk, and his backpack sat beside him, filled with books he'd barely touched. He sighed, staring up at the stars, wondering if life would ever get better, if he'd ever be more than just an invisible kid in a small, forgotten town. But tonight, something inside him stirred. He didn't notice the black SUVs speeding past the main road or the shadows moving through the trees nearby. His mind was on the science test he'd failed, the bullies waiting for him tomorrow, and the ache in his chest from always feeling less. Then it happened. A sharp pain shot through his hands, like electricity surging beneath his skin. He gasped, clutching his palms, feeling something shift deep inside. His breathing quickened, and the world around him blurred, colors sharpening, sounds amplifying, the distant hum of an engine, the faint footsteps of someone approaching. "Noah?" His mom's voice cut through the fog. She hurried toward him, wiping her hands on her apron. "Are you okay? You look pale." I don't know. My hands, they're burning." Before she could respond, a low rumble vibrated through the ground. The headlights of an approaching SUV pierced the darkness, stopping abruptly in front of them. Men in black tactical gear stepped out, their faces hidden behind masks. Noah's mom instinctively pulled him close. "What's going on? Who are you?" The leader, a tall man with a gruff voice, took a step forward. We're here for the boy. Noah's heart raced. For me? Why? The man hesitated for a moment before speaking. You have something inside you, something valuable. We need to take you in. It's for your safety. His mom's grip tightened. No. You're not taking him anywhere. But before they could react, one of the masked men lunged forward, grabbing Noah by the arm. Instinct kicked in. The burning in his hands exploded outward, sending a shockwave that knocked the man back several feet. Noah stood frozen, staring at his hands. What was that? His mom pulled him up. Run. Now. They darted into the trees, branches whipping past them as they ran through the dark woods. Noah's senses felt heightened. He could hear every snap of a twig, feel the vibrations of footsteps behind them. But what scared him the most wasn't the men chasing them, it was the realization that he wasn't normal anymore. Something inside him had awakened, and there was no turning back. As they reached a clearing, headlights from another vehicle blocked their path. But this time, it wasn't the masked men. Dr. Evelyn Ross stood by an old Jeep, waving them over. Get in. Quick. Noah hesitated but saw the fear in his mother's eyes. They climbed in, and the Jeep sped off, tires kicking up dirt. Evelyn glanced at him through the rearview mirror. You don't know me, but I'm here to help. They're after you because of what's inside your DNA. Noah swallowed hard. What's inside me? She took a deep breath. A hidden code. One that could change the fate of humanity. Noah slumped back in his seat, the weight of her words sinking in. He had always felt ordinary, less than ordinary. But now, he was something else entirely. And he wasn't sure if that was a blessing or a curse. The old Jeep bounced violently over dirt roads, headlights cutting through the dark forest. Noah sat in the back seat, his heart pounding, still trying to process what had just happened. His mother sat next to him, clutching his hand tightly, her knuckles white. Dr. Evelyn Ross kept her eyes on the road, her face tense but focused. Where are we going? Noah's mom asked, her voice trembling. Evelyn took a sharp turn, tires skidding on loose gravel. Somewhere safe. But we don't have much time, they'll be tracking us. Noah leaned forward. Who are they? And why me? I'm just normal. Evelyn hesitated, then sighed. You're far from normal, Noah. I've been studying genetic anomalies for over 20 years. Most people's DNA is straightforward, basic coding that makes up who they are. But hidden within a fraction of the population is something different. Something advanced. Noah's mom frowned. What do you mean by advanced? Evelyn glanced at Noah through the rearview mirror. I mean that inside Noah's DNA is a dormant sequence, something planted there long before any of us existed. Think of it like a blueprint for abilities humans were never supposed to unlock. Noah's hands instinctively clenched. He remembered the burst of energy that had knocked the soldier back. So, that thing I did? It came from this code? Evelyn nodded. Yes. And there's more. Your body's only started to wake up. If fully unlocked, that code could turn you into something beyond human, stronger, faster, smarter. Essentially, a super soldier. The Jeep screeched to a halt near an abandoned warehouse. Evelyn shut off the headlights and motioned for them to get out. Inside, the air was cold and damp, dust swirling in the beams of a flickering overhead light. Evelyn led them through rusted corridors to a hidden room filled with monitors and strange equipment. Noah looked around, overwhelmed. You've been watching me? Evelyn shook her head. Not exactly. But I've been tracking people like you. You're the first to show signs of awakening naturally, without any external triggers. Noah's mom stepped forward, her protective instincts flaring. What do they want with him? Evelyn hesitated, her face clouded with guilt. They want to control him. Imagine an army of people like Noah, unstoppable, weaponized. That's their goal. But the process is dangerous. Many who've been forced into activation didn't survive. Noah's stomach churned. He thought of the masked men who had chased them, people willing to hurt him for something he didn't even understand. Evelyn pulled up a file on one of the monitors. It displayed complex DNA strands, with certain sections highlighted. This code isn't random. It's old, far older than humanity. Some believe it was planted here by something, not from Earth. Noah's eyes widened. You mean aliens? Evelyn sighed. I don't like that term, but yes. The genetic markers don't match anything native to this planet. Before anyone could respond, the monitors flickered, then went black. A loud hum filled the warehouse. Evelyn's face paled. They found us. Noah's hands started burning again, that same electric sensation rushing through him. But this time, it wasn't random, it felt controlled, like he was starting to understand it. Footsteps echoed through the warehouse, boots clanging against metal. Evelyn grabbed a small device from the table, a sleek-looking bracelet. Noah, put this on. It'll help regulate your energy, keep you from burning out. He slipped the bracelet onto his wrist. Instantly, the burning subsided, replaced by a low hum that pulsed in sync with his heartbeat. His mom grabbed his arm. Noah, we have to get out of here. Evelyn moved to the door, peeking out into the dark hallway. There's a tunnel beneath this building. It leads out past the perimeter. We can escape if we move now. But as they stepped into the corridor, a voice echoed through the building, amplified by speakers. You can't run forever, Noah. We know what you are. Come with us willingly, and no one has to get hurt. Noah's heart raced. The voice was cold, calculated, but there was something familiar about it. Evelyn grabbed his shoulder. Don't listen to them. They don't care about you, they only want what's inside you. But Noah hesitated. Deep inside, he felt something pulling him, like a connection to the people chasing him. The group moved quickly through the tunnels beneath the warehouse, but as they reached the exit, a shadowy figure blocked their path. It was a man, dressed in the same black tactical gear as the others, but his mask was off. His face was weathered, eyes piercing. Noah, the man said, his voice calm. I'm not your enemy. Noah's fists clenched, energy crackling through his hands. Who are you? The man took a slow step forward. I'm someone who knows the truth. And I'm here to tell you, the code inside you? It's not a gift. It's a curse. Noah's world tilted as the words sank in. Everything he thought he knew was about to change. Noah stood frozen, the man's words echoing in his mind, it's not a gift. It's a curse. The energy in his hands flickered, the glowing pulses dimming as doubt crept in. His mom gripped his arm tightly, her voice trembling. Noah, don't listen to him. Dr. Evelyn stepped forward, her eyes narrowing at the mysterious man. Who are you? How do you know about the code? The man raised his hands slowly, showing he meant no harm. Name's Adler. I was part of the original program, the one that first discovered the code buried in human DNA. I helped unlock it, and I watched as it destroyed lives. Evelyn's face tightened. You're lying. No one survived the initial trials. Adler's eyes darkened. Because they didn't tell you the full story. Noah's head spun. What do you mean? Why me? Why do I have this thing inside me? Adler sighed, his gaze softening. Because you're not the first, Noah. But you might be the last. He gestured for them to follow him deeper into the tunnel. Against their better judgment, they moved forward, desperate for answers. They entered an underground chamber, walls lined with dusty monitors and old research equipment. At the center stood a massive cylindrical tank, filled with a strange, luminescent liquid. Adler approached the tank and wiped the condensation from the glass. Inside floated something, humanoid, but wrong. Its skin was translucent, veins glowing with the same pulsing light Noah had seen in his own hands. This, Adler began, his voice heavy, is the result of forced activation. The government wanted super soldiers, so they pushed the code too far. Most didn't survive. But some mutated. Noah's stomach churned. Is that what I'll become? Adler shook his head. Not if you control it. But the thing inside you isn't just a power source, it's a fragment of something ancient. Something that's been waiting to wake up. Evelyn gasped, the realization hitting her. The code isn't just DNA. It's a message. Adler nodded grimly. Exactly. A message left behind by whoever, or whatever, planted it here. And now that you've started to awaken, they know. They're coming. A deep silence filled the chamber. The weight of Adler's words pressed down on Noah, his heart racing. His mom's voice broke through the tension. I don't care about codes or messages. I just want my son safe. Adler looked at her, a flicker of empathy crossing his hardened face. I get that. But keeping him safe means understanding what's inside him. Suddenly, the monitors in the chamber flickered to life, static filling the screens before a shadowy figure appeared, a tall being with elongated features, its eyes glowing a haunting blue. Noah stepped closer, mesmerized. What is that? Adler's voice dropped to a whisper. The ones who left the code. They're watching. The figure on the screen spoke, its voice vibrating through the chamber. The vessel has awakened. The cycle begins anew. Noah felt a surge of energy rush through him, stronger than anything before. The bracelet on his wrist glowed brightly, trying to contain the force, but it strained under the pressure. The figure continued, you carry the key to humanity's next evolution. But evolution comes at a price. Noah's hands trembled. What price? The figure's glowing eyes locked onto him. Your humanity. The screen shattered, the chamber plunged into darkness. Evelyn scrambled to reboot the power while Adler grabbed Noah by the shoulders. You have to make a choice, kid, Adler said, his voice urgent. Use the power to control what's coming, or let it control you. Noah's mom reached for him, her eyes filled with tears. Noah, you're stronger than this. You're stronger than them. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Dust fell from the ceiling as distant explosions echoed through the tunnels. Evelyn restored partial power, the emergency lights flickering to life. They're breaching the outer wall. We need to move, now. Adler led them through a hidden passageway, deeper into the underground facility. As they ran, Noah's mind raced. He didn't ask for this. He didn't want this. But now, he realized, whether he liked it or not, he was at the center of something far bigger than himself. And the clock was running out. The tunnels trembled under their feet, dust cascading from the ceiling as distant booms echoed closer. Noah's heart pounded like a war drum. Every instinct told him to run, to escape the nightmare unraveling around him, but something deeper, something primal, kept him moving forward. Adler led the way through the dimly lit tunnel, his voice sharp. The facility has a safe chamber ahead, built before they shut this place down. If we reach it, we'll have time to figure this out. Evelyn clutched Noah's arm, her knuckles white. We don't have much time. Those things, whatever they are, they're coming. Noah glanced at the bracelet still glowing on his wrist. He could feel it, something awake inside him, like a second heart beating faster with every passing moment. It wasn't just energy. It was consciousness. Adler, Noah called out, what happens if I lose control? Adler didn't slow down, but his voice softened. Then we all lose. They burst into a vast, circular chamber. High ceilings stretched above them, lined with ancient-looking panels and glowing symbols. The room felt different, like it had been waiting for them. Adler moved to a console and began flipping switches, activating a large, transparent dome at the center. This is a containment sphere. It'll keep whatever's inside you from spreading, at least for now. Noah hesitated. And if I step inside? Adler's face was grim. We see what's really in there. Evelyn grabbed Noah's hand. You don't have to do this. We'll find another way. But Noah shook his head. I'm tired of running, Mom. I need answers. With a deep breath, Noah stepped into the sphere. The dome closed around him with a soft hum, and immediately, the air thickened. His body felt lighter, but his mind swirled with strange visions, memories that weren't his own. He saw flashes of ancient landscapes, vast cities built by beings taller than humans, their skin shimmering with the same light coursing through his veins. He felt their thoughts, their desires. They had come to Earth long ago, not to conquer, but to seed. To plant their legacy within humanity, waiting for the right moment to awaken. Noah's body trembled as the energy surged. His hands glowed brighter, and his reflection in the dome showed his veins illuminated, his eyes radiating light. Adler's voice crackled through the calm, focus, Noah. Don't let it take over. You're still in control. But then, another voice echoed in Noah's mind, deep, resonant, and ancient. You are the bridge between worlds. Let go, and transcend. Noah's body lifted slightly off the ground, the dome shaking as streams of energy spiraled around him. Evelyn pounded on the glass. Noah. Stay with me. His mind was torn. Part of him wanted to surrender, to feel the full power surging through him. But then, he remembered his mother's face, her warmth, her sacrifices. I'm still me, he thought, clenching his fists. I won't lose who I am. With immense effort, he forced the energy inward, focusing it into his core. The stream spiraling around him snapped back like a vacuum, and the dome went still. Adler's voice came through, shocked. He did it. He stabilized the energy. The dome hissed open, and Noah stepped out, sweat dripping from his brow but his eyes clearer than ever. Evelyn ran to him, wrapping her arms around him tightly. I thought I lost you. Noah hugged her back, feeling the residual warmth of the energy within him, now controlled. I almost lost myself. But before they could catch their breath, the chamber lights flickered. A piercing hum filled the air. Adler cursed under his breath. They're here. From the shadows, sleek figures emerged, tall, humanoid beings with luminous eyes, their bodies radiating the same light Noah had seen in his visions. But there was something predatory about them, something cold. One stepped forward, its voice smooth yet menacing. The vessel has awakened. It must come with us. Adler raised his weapon, standing between Noah and the creatures. Over my dead body. Noah felt a wave of calm wash over him. The energy inside him wasn't raging anymore, it was focused. Controlled. He stepped forward, past Adler, facing the lead figure. I'm not going anywhere with you. The figure tilted its head. You misunderstand. You were created for this purpose. To ascend. To join us. Noah clenched his fists, feeling the energy surge but remaining steady. I'm human. And I choose my own path. The figure's glowing eyes narrowed. Then you have chosen war. Without warning, the chamber erupted in chaos. Beams of energy shot across the room as Adler fired at the advancing figures. Evelyn pulled Noah back, but he stood his ground, summoning a shield of light that deflected the blasts. His control was growing stronger by the second. He could feel their energy, understand their movements. But even with his new power, they were relentless. Adler was knocked to the ground, a deep wound on his side. Evelyn ducked behind debris, shielding herself as beams struck around her. Noah gritted his teeth, realizing the truth. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about protecting the people I love. With a roar, he channeled all his energy into a massive pulse, sending shockwaves through the chamber. The invading figures were thrown backward, some disintegrating into particles of light. When the dust settled, only the lead figure remained, kneeling but still intact. It looked up at Noah, a strange expression in its glowing eyes, not anger, but respect. "You are stronger than we anticipated," it said before vanishing in a flash of light. The chamber fell silent, except for Adler's labored breathing and Evelyn's sobs of relief. Noah stood at the center, energy still coursing through him, but now it felt different. He wasn't just a vessel. He was something more. And whatever was coming next, he knew he would be ready. The chamber was eerily quiet, dust particles suspended midair, shimmering under the broken lights. Noah stood there, the energy still faintly pulsing beneath his skin, his chest heaving from the effort. Evelyn rushed to Adler's side, kneeling next to him. His uniform was soaked with blood, a deep gash along his ribcage. She pressed her hands against the wound, her voice trembling. "Stay with me, Adler. We're going to get you out of here." Adler groaned, his face pale but determined. "I've had worse," he mumbled, but the pain in his voice betrayed him. Noah knelt beside them, his hands still glowing faintly. "I can help," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. He didn't know how, but instinctively, he placed his hands over Adler's wound. A warmth surged from his palms, gentle and controlled. Adler's breathing steadied, the bleeding slowed, and beneath Noah's touch, the torn skin began to knit together. Evelyn gasped. "Noah, how did you?" "I don't know," Noah replied, his voice soft, eyes wide with disbelief. "It's like I just felt what needed to happen." Adler coughed, but a faint smile formed. "Kid, you're full of surprises." They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of everything pressing down on them. Evelyn finally spoke, her voice breaking. "Noah, what happened back there? Who were those things?" Noah sat back, staring at his hands. "They called me a vessel, like I was meant to carry something. In the dome, I saw visions of another world, beings seeding life on Earth, waiting for someone like me to awaken." He hesitated. "But they weren't benevolent. It felt like they wanted to use me, to control me." Adler pushed himself up slowly, wincing. "This was never just about power. It's about control over evolution itself. You're a bridge between humanity and whatever they are." Evelyn's face was pale, but her eyes burned with determination. "We won't let them take you, Noah. You're still my son." Noah clenched his fists, the energy within him swirling but calm. "I'm not going to let them control me. I'll fight them." But Adler shook his head. "It's not that simple. The pulse you released earlier, it sent a signal. They know where you are now. And more will come. Stronger ones." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. "Then what do we do?" Evelyn asked, fear creeping into her voice. Adler hesitated, then sighed. "There's one place, the Citadel. It's an old research facility, built deep underground before all this started. It's got tech, ancient tech, that might help us understand what's inside Noah, and how to fight them. But it's dangerous," Evelyn guessed. Adler nodded grimly. "And heavily guarded. But if we make it there, we might have a chance." Noah looked between them, feeling the weight of their words. He wasn't just fighting for himself anymore, he was fighting for everyone. "Then we go to the Citadel," he said firmly. Adler smirked despite the pain. "Kid's got guts." Hours later, outside the facility. The three of them emerged from the underground tunnels just as dawn broke over the horizon. The sky was tinged with orange and pink, the world above eerily calm compared to the chaos they had left behind. Evelyn took a deep breath, savoring the fresh air. It feels peaceful. Adler scanned the horizon, his weapon slung over his back. It won't last. Noah stood on a ridge, overlooking what was once a thriving city, now half in ruins, with overgrown streets and crumbling buildings. But in the distance, a faint tower gleamed, the citadel. There it is, Adler pointed. Our destination. But as they set off, Noah felt a strange sensation in the pit of his stomach, a ripple through the air, like an unseen force watching him. He turned sharply, but there was nothing there. Or was there? The glow from his bracelet flickered briefly, like a warning. Evelyn noticed. What is it? Noah hesitated, then shook his head. I'm not sure. But I think, they're already waiting for us. Adler tightened the straps on his gear. Let them come. We'll be ready. But deep down, Noah knew, this was only the calm before the storm. The real battle hadn't even begun. And as they started their journey toward the citadel, the echoes of distant footsteps, too many to count, followed silently behind. The citadel loomed ahead, a towering structure of ancient steel and glass, half buried beneath layers of time and overgrowth. It was both majestic and haunting, a relic of a forgotten era that had once toyed with the very fabric of humanity. Noah, Evelyn, and Adler stood at the edge of a broken bridge leading to its entrance. The air buzzed with a strange energy, thick with tension. Adler checked his gear one last time. This is it. Whatever answers we're looking for, they're inside. Noah clenched his fists, feeling the quiet hum beneath his skin. The power had grown stronger with each passing hour, but so had the pull, the whispering voices that beckoned him deeper, promising clarity, dominance, and purpose. Evelyn touched his arm gently. You don't have to face this alone, Noah. He met her gaze, his eyes reflecting both fear and determination. I know. But this is something only I can finish. They crossed the bridge cautiously, every step echoing through the hollow remains of the structure. The citadel's main doors stood ajar, as though inviting them in. Inside, the facility was still alive. Faint lights flickered along the walls, illuminating endless rows of forgotten machinery. In the center of the grand hall stood an enormous chamber, glass tubes filled with a liquid that shimmered unnaturally. Evelyn gasped. They were experimenting on humans. Inside the tubes, lifeless bodies floated, some looked entirely human, others twisted into monstrous forms, results of failed attempts to recreate the supersoldier DNA. Adler's jaw clenched. This is where it all started. They weren't just looking to enhance humanity, they were trying to control it. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. Welcome, Noah. From the shadows emerged a figure, tall, imposing, and undeniably human, yet something about him felt off. His eyes glowed faintly, veins pulsing with the same energy that coursed through Noah. I am Dr. Malrek, the figure announced, stepping forward. I was the lead scientist on the SuperSoldier program. And you are my greatest success. Noah's heart pounded. I didn't choose this. Malrek smiled coldly. But you were chosen. Your DNA was the perfect vessel, balanced between human fragility and the power we sought to harness. You are the culmination of decades of research, the bridge to the next evolution. Evelyn stepped forward. He's not your puppet. Malrek's gaze flicked to her, unbothered. He has a choice. But know this, Noah, the power inside you will grow, and it will consume you unless you accept what you are. The air thickened as the lights flickered wildly. Malrek raised his hand, and the chamber around them roared to life. The bodies in the glass tubes began to stir, eyes snapping open, failed super soldiers, but still dangerous. Adler pulled Evelyn back, weapon drawn. "We've got company." Noah stood still, the hum inside him reaching a deafening crescendo. He could feel the pull, power beyond comprehension, but also the darkness within it. Malrek's voice echoed again. "Join me, Noah. Together, we can reshape this broken world." Noah clenched his fists, his veins glowing brightly. "No. I'm not your weapon." With a surge of energy, he unleashed a powerful shockwave, shattering the glass tubes and sending the mutated soldiers flying backward. But Malrek barely flinched. "You still don't understand," Malrek sneered, stepping closer. "This was never about control. It was about survival. Humanity is weak, fragile. You have the chance to change that." Noah's mind raced, torn between the power threatening to overtake him and the memories that anchored him, his mother's love, Adler's sacrifice, the innocent lives at stake. Evelyn's voice pierced through the chaos. "Noah. You are more than what they made you. You have a choice." The words echoed in his mind, grounding him. He focused all his energy inward, channeling the chaotic power into something pure. His body glowed, brighter than before, until he stood as a beacon of light in the dark chamber. "No," he said, stepping toward Malrek. "I'm not here to change humanity. I'm here to protect it." With a powerful surge, Noah lunged forward, his energy colliding with Malrek's. The two forces clashed violently, creating shockwaves that rippled through the citadel. Malrek pushed back, snarling. "You're a fool. You can't control it." But Noah gritted his teeth, focusing on the memories that defined him, his mother's kindness, Adler's resilience, the simple moments that made life worth protecting. "I already am." With a final burst of energy, Noah overwhelmed Malrek, sending the scientist flying into the machinery behind him. Sparks flew, and the chamber began to collapse. Adler grabbed Evelyn's hand. "We need to go, now." Noah turned back, seeing them retreat. But Malrek, wounded and gasping, reached out one last time, his voice filled with desperation. "It's not over. You can't escape what you are." Noah met his gaze, calm and resolute. "I'm not running from it. I'm choosing how to use it." With that, he turned and sprinted toward Adler and Evelyn, escaping the collapsing citadel just as it imploded behind them. Hours later, a quiet hilltop. The sun was setting, casting golden hues across the sky. Noah sat quietly on a hill, staring out at the horizon. Evelyn sat beside him, her hand resting gently on his shoulder. "You saved us," she whispered. Noah nodded slowly. "I almost lost myself back there." Adler approached, leaning on his rifle. "But you didn't. That's what matters." There was a long pause before Evelyn spoke again. "What now?" Noah sighed. "I don't know. The power inside me, it's still there. But I'm going to use it to help, not to control. To protect people like you." Adler smirked. "You're stronger than you think, kid. Not because of what's inside you, but because of who you are." Noah smiled faintly, feeling a strange sense of peace for the first time. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Evelyn spoke softly, "Sometimes, it's not about the power we have, but the choices we make." Noah nodded. "And I choose to be human." The wind carried their laughter and quiet conversation as the world, scarred but still standing, awaited its next chapter, this time, in the hands of someone who truly understood its worth.